Right, so it's been another busy day. Sorry, the video blogs have been really slow to get up and going, so I do apologise for that. I'm trying my best. I'm going to try and get some more videos together. So today was just a normal, steady day. Not too bad. A few foot abscesses we dug out, which was good. Always nice to see a foot abscess come out. And last night, late night call. I'm going to do a separate video on the thoughts of colic, how we deal with it, what we think about it, what's a vet's opinion, what we're thinking when we're going there, because I think that's important. Sometimes in the heat of the moment we forget about things like that. So you'll see a separate video come up in the next day or two about colics. I recorded some thoughts on the way to this colic last night. Thankfully it seems to be doing alright and slowly getting better. And that's a real positive, so good things. What else today? Oh, we're going to cover some of the young horse stuff. I'm going to, you'll see later in this video, someone asked a while ago, and I do apologise for the slow response, about young horses and when to start them, what to do with them, and why you do what you do, and what you should do and what you shouldn't do. So that's really important to have a look at, because I think we sometimes forget that different horses mature at different speeds, so we need to look at that, and there's ways to sort of assess that. And I'll just look at, we assess that quite closely in thoroughbreds. With one of my big stables we do that routinely, and I'll just show you some variations in the growth and the maturity of horses and just take you through it. Alright, speak to you soon, bye. So, people have asked about when to start a young horse, when to start and how to manage how much work they do. I think one of the things we have to accept, and I see it sometimes on Facebook, and people having a go about certain horses being started early, started late, and everyone has their own opinion. Horses are different, the breeds are different, we have to accept that. Your thoroughbred racehorse is more mature than a warm blood. Your quarter horses are more mature than a warm blood. Your stock horses maybe take a little bit more time, and it's something you've really got to take into consideration. So I'm just going to run through a couple of x-rays. We do this for the young racehorses. It's quite common to do x-rays of the growth plates of the distal radius just above the knee. That usually closes around 2.5 in a warm blood, 2.5 to 3 in a warm blood. And a thoroughbred that can be almost 12 months earlier. So it's something we really we look at and we assess horses. So when we look at this x-ray here, this is actually quite a mature horse. The really interesting thing about these two horses is they're both approximately 23 months of age. They're actually born within 2 weeks of each other. We're really comfortable with this because they are thoroughbreds. But you can see here on the immature knee, which I'm showing now, you'll see that there's growth plates wide open and there's no sign of closure yet of that horse. So this is a really immature horse. It's skeletally immature, and this horse will go back out to the paddock and be allowed to grow until its growth plates look like its friend, who is a completely different horse. So those two horses are literally only 2 weeks apart in age, and they're completely different horses. So we've got to consider pedigree when we consider when to start a young horse, when not to start a young horse, because that really does play into consideration when we go into the management of them. So when we look at a young horse, we've decided to work it, we're doing work. I get asked all the time, how much is too much work, how much is too little work, how much work do you do? I actually don't think there's a straightforward answer to that. But I think you have to make considerations in your training with what the aim of the horse is. So you've got a young dressage horse, it's precocious, it's quite mature. Are you aiming for dressage with the stars? Is that your aim? Is that your focus for this horse to compete at dressage with stars? It's 4, 5 and 6. If that's a yes, it's no different to a racehorse trainer that's got a young horse, a 2-year-old, and they're aiming for the big 2-year-old races. You're doing the exact same thing. You're pushing horses possibly a little bit early. You may do some damage to the joints while those joints are remodeling, and you can't give the horse time to mature and develop into an older horse. that's completely fine. I think some people forget that that's what they're doing. There is a comparison. I'm not saying that doing one or the other is bad for the horse, because sometimes you have a different aim for a horse. You might have a stud farm, whether it's warm blood, thoroughbred, quarter horse, that getting a very good score with a young horse that you've bred at a major competition is very important. It's a good commercial decision. That horse is probably going to be retired to the broodmare paddock afterwards, or be sold on, and accept that, and that's fine. But if your horse is aimed for more higher level Grand Prix dressage, Grand Prix show jumping, World Cup show jumping, or eventing 4-star, there's no real rush, because those horses won't reach their maturity until they're 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, when they'll really hit the straps. So it's really important then to manage how much work the horse does early on. So you want to ensure you don't get any damage to the joints in the process of education. So let's go back and think about bone. People think of bone as this static structure. It's a dynamic structure that responds to the exercise you do to it. Tendons and ligaments, on the other hand, they don't respond to what you do to them. They are what they are. So you need to train bone to withstand the forces that you're going to exert on it. What's the best way to do that? It's little bits often. So small bits of work, regular. Don't let your horse get overweight. Lighter's better with a young horse, really it is. It's no different to a human athlete. You want to keep the lighter the better. So less muscle, less body mass on legs will help a young horse, and then you transfer that up into regular, small amounts of work. Now, small can be 10 minutes riding work. Some of the great riders I've had a chance to actually work with in the last sort of 10, 15 years might have a 3-year-old or 4-year-old in work, technically, but that horse might only get 5 or 10 minutes a day, 4 days a week, 5 days a week, because that's all they need. It's just little bits often, and you're working the bone so that it learns how to withstand the forces you're going to ask it to withstand to later in life. Whereas you get a young horse that you're pushing for dressage with the stars, or a 2-year-old race, you're just going to get going. You're just going to keep pushing, and you have to be aware that there's certain signs that are going to tell you your horse has just had enough. One of them is swelling in joints. If you start getting that in a young horse, it's time to stop. There's something going on. Shoot some x-rays, make sure there's no fragments in the joint, and the horse may just need a break, because you can do a lot of damage with those inflamed joints as a young horse. So look, there's lots of different thought processes on the management of a young horse. You have to be careful. It's a topic we could probably have a weekend lecture series on, to be honest. It is really fascinating, but I think the one thing to take away from it is, even within a breed, horses are different. So 2 horses born within 2 weeks of each other. The pedigree is important. What was its mother like? Fast maturing, slow maturing, father, what were they up to? And then also, what is your aim for the horse? So you might have a horse that's by a really flash young dressage stallion, but your aim is Grand Prix. Well, just be careful. You want to aim that. If that's your aim, Grand Prix, higher levels, FEI is your aim. There's no real rush. You got to take it nice and steady. Little bits of work often will just help prevent. Will A, train the bone to be stronger, and B, actually also prevent longer term lameness down the track. So plenty of food for thought, and we'll catch up soon. Bye.